Any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. Arthur C. Clarke. It seems like every other article these days is about AI. It's a huge buzzword, and honestly, a lot of what's called AI is just an algorithm. Whether these systems will take over the world or not, whether they'll put me out of a job, maybe they'll take over everybody's work and turn us into pure consumers like on the Axiom in Wall-E. You know, Dolly, Wall-E, I digress. The thing is, in this day and age, AI is mostly an amazing tool. It hasn't replaced us yet, but with some curation and a bit of elbow grease, we can use it to create our own original art. So here's all the tools I regularly use, I think. Maybe I missed some, so if I did, let me know in the comments. Let's start in the writing process. Lyrics. I've always had difficulty coming up with good lyrics. Sometimes inspiration strikes, but when it doesn't, I'm just staring at a blinking cursor. Now, I finally read Writing Better Lyrics after it was recommended to me a million times. But before that, GPT-3 was a great idea generator. OpenAI GPT-3 is probably the best known AI tool at the moment. I've been using the beta Playground for a while, but you may be more familiar with ChatGPT. One thing to note is that the original GPT-3 can't rhyme, but ChatGPT can. However, ChatGPT is a lot less creative. For example, telling ChatGPT write a song about bumblebees gives us this. Okay, that's honestly kind of fun. In GPT-3, well, I kinda debated showing you this, so I'll mask my exact prompt. I found that giving GPT-3 a title instead of an idea and a string of sound-alike artists gives at least some cool metaphors. My prompt goes something like Artist 1 meets Artist 2 meets... So, for example, Beyoncé meets Bob Dylan meets Marilyn Manson, which might actually be cool. I used the DaVinci Instruct model, which offers a lot weirder ideas than the regular text model. Temperature, frequency, and presence go up, and let's start with titles. Okay, art belongs to the bees. I have no idea what that would mean, but let's use it. I'm gonna try it a few times, and look, this one could be nice. Let the workers come in tonight, they deserve a break. Nobody works by daytime light but me. Oops, nobody goes on night shifts during this part of day. It's burning out. They're turning loose all media beasts before their lights go dark. Hive inside my pocket and I realize that art belongs to bees. We could use a few lines from this or just modify a bit to make it rhyme. Whatever you want. Mixing. Let's fast forward a bit. We wrote the song, recorded it, now it's time to mix. The past few years, all kinds of tools using AI came out. The first and probably best known one of these is Isotope Neutron. Neutron listens to a sound and creates a simple mix setting. It can't listen to context, neither does it have much taste. It's a very clean sounding plugin and mostly great at finding a few annoying resonances. For example, here's my voice in Blood Flow without any EQ or compression.
Current to call upon to shed some light, collecting the clues of days gone by.
Here I'll let Neutron listen for a bit.
Current to call upon to shed some light.
And here's the mix setting.
Current to call upon to shed some light, collecting the clues of days gone by.
I often find the exciter to not work very well, but overall Neutron gives a great starting point. It can also serve as an educational tool, showing you what your little assistant Jimmy Neutron would do. By analyzing, you can learn why and ask yourself if you actually like it. Another option here are the Acoustica plugins with AI presets. Here I'll play a bass part. Click AI preset and the setting on this EQ will be based on the audio the plugin just heard. Acoustica tends to be a lot more subtle. However, it still has very useful, almost indescribable sweetening effects on anything it touches. Mastering. Moving on, there's mastering. For those who don't know, mastering is the last stage in the recording process. You take the stereo mix and add the final tweaks. In this process, the mastering engineer matches it to the other songs on an album or the other songs on the radio or streaming. It does so in brightness, in loudness, and overall frequency balance. I'll sometimes run Isotope Ozone in Logic. either for a reference mix or to check if I'm too far off. If I see some huge EQ boosts and cuts here, I probably just need a good night's sleep. If I don't, I'm in good shape. Aria, however, is a service I use all the time. If you haven't seen this before, check it out. It's an actual robot arm turning actual knobs on actual audio hardware. Just like Ozone, it listens to incoming audio and bases its settings on that. You can remaster a few times so you can test a few different brightness or loudness settings, but it honestly sounds amazing. Artwork. I guess with the popularity of AI-generated art on the internet, this is a no-brainer. I used DALL-E to create the basis for my artwork. Part of my idea was to have different views of the world with myself in the picture somewhere. The concept behind this particular piece was a gothic building looking up in the sky and me from a distance. Other ones will have close-ups of my face, etc. I didn't have time or budget to plan a photo shoot. Okay, I kind of forgot. So I thought a faraway picture would work well. I had DALL-E create a floating dude, turned it into a silhouette in Photopeia and inserted it into this picture. For some other artwork I used Lensa. You may have seen similar pictures floating around the internet. You upload a few photos of yourself and it generates cool new pictures of you. Most of them look great, but when you zoom in you'll see a few weird errors. I tried fixing these, cutting them up a bit, and found one that works quite well in this artwork. Not bad for a guy that usually does sound. Marketing. I'll be honest, I'm not entirely sure if I can call this AI. According to a Google search, there is some neural network involved, so I'll include it in the list. When you advertise a song via Meta, the company behind Facebook and Instagram, you can target an audience. Depending on your product, you might opt for age, location, or gender, but for music, the most common target is similar artists. Now, this is honestly ridiculously hard to decide for yourself since everyone thinks they sound like Radiohead, but with some trial and error you can find a few artists whose fans are a good fit. The fun part only really comes after you're done with the first ad. You can create what's called a lookalike audience, and this is where the whole algorithm comes in. You take all these people who clicked on your ad the first time and ask Meta, find people who are similar to them. All this data that Zuckerberg famously collects is for exactly this: to find the best possible matches for your new customers. I, for one, welcome our new robot overlords. New technology can be scary, especially when it could impact your livelihood, but hopefully this progress makes all our lives easier in the end. If you have any AI tools I should check out, leave a comment and keep me posted if any of these tips help you out. All the best, and I'll see you in the next video.